What dream is in your heart that's calling you? The universe isn't just out there, it's interacting with you. Claim your power by embracing the unknown. This is Tracy with Tracy Talks, and I'm here to ignite your curiosity. Don't just listen, embrace it. We have these seeds inside of us just waiting to be recognized. It's this little intuition, this little dream inside of us. But a lot of us are walking around not wanting to take any action because inherently there's going to be change in your life. Sometimes it takes ending something, creating space for something before you have the time and energy to take steps to follow your passion. It requires setting boundaries in areas of your life where you've never had any boundaries. It requires you to step into a space of the unknown where there is no playbook, there is no manual, there is no set. These are the 10 steps that you need to do to manifest your dream. There is often pushback from the people closest to you. And so many of us have these dreams and we feel them. They're an energy within us that is pulsing, waiting to be recognized. But we don't want to take any action because that is going to require change. It's going to require us changing our routine. It's going to require us changing our schedule, how we do things, how we think, how we believe. Anything new and different that we embark on is going to require us to change, and oftentimes in ways that we would never have considered. Riding the waves of change and feeling instability, that is a muscle that we have to develop. Change is never going to be fun. Change is probably never going to be easy. It's never going to be something that any one of us are like, bring on the change, bring on everything in my life falling apart. I don't know anyone who has asked for that in their life. But if there's ever been something inside of you that you have wanted to do, to experience, it is probably going to require you to make significant changes in your life. So how can you start feeling the feelings of change? How can you start to feel that instability in small incremental ways? Again, it's no different than training for a marathon. You don't go out and run the full 26 miles, but you build up to that point. How can you every day start to move in the direction of your dreams for whatever it is you want to create? Do you need to carve out space for that dream? Do you need to start setting boundaries? Do you need to do small little things that make you feel uncomfortable? Maybe go do something by yourself. Feel that feeling of not having somebody around you. I think that's very important to develop. As I have been on this path, I often meet a lot of resistance. Why are you doing this? Why do you want to do this? So many people around me have not understood why I have done the things that I've done. Getting comfortable standing alone will need to be a skill that you develop. Being in a space of not having the people around you support you because they don't want you to change. They want you to be the exact same person that you have always been. They want to know that you're going to be who they want you to be. Some people do not understand the feelings of wanting to forge your own path. They don't understand what it means to just clearly go out on your own and blaze a new trail in whatever that means. And people are going to push back. They're going to test you. They're going to try to keep you where they want you to be. How can you, in small ways, be in those uncomfortable spaces so you can develop resistance to it, so you can feel what it feels like to be in an uncomfortable situation, in a situation of change, and learn to build the skill that you're going to get through it, you're going to be fine. Change will inevitably allow you to see something in a new perspective if you open yourself up to it. So many of us are risk adverse. We don't want to take any risk. We want to do the same thing that we've always done. And you know what? You're going to get the same feelings that you've always felt. And maybe you listeners are happy with where you're at in your life. Maybe you're loving your life. I know there were great periods where I was fulfilling the role that I thought I was expected to fulfill. And everyone was happy. Everyone was ecstatic that I was living this life. I had created the life that generations before me had created. But I wasn't happy. I wasn't fulfilled. There was a dream inside of me that needed to be and wanted to be recognized and nurtured and allowed to grow. I had to allow it to grow. But that required me to embrace great change, great instability. There was no guarantees, and there hasn't been any guarantees. I know the traditional path. I've walked the traditional path. And every time I step back into that world, I do not feel fulfilled. I feel constrained. I feel restricted. And sometimes we have to walk these two different worlds at the same time as we fully transition into a different phase. And sometimes we don't. We just stop one and start another one. How can you take small steps every day to create a little bit of instability in your life? Can you show up to a different event? Can you network in a different way? Can you meet new people that don't know you, that don't know your story, that don't know who you're supposed to be, and have no preconceived idea of how they want you to be? And that's the great thing, is sometimes at this age, we really don't want to make new friends. And I know it's hard. It's hard to make new friends. It's hard to really connect because we're all at different stages of life. What I will say to that, though, is when you only surround yourself with the same 10 people that you've had for the past 50 years, it becomes really difficult to reinvent yourself. When you show up at a networking event, they don't expect anything of you other than hopefully for you to show up as your authentic self. But so often we carry the same people with us. They don't want you to change. They need you to be the same person that you've always been because they're counting on you to do something for them. When I look out into the world right now, the structures that we have known, that we have depended on, that we have expected are changing. They're changing on a high level. Eventually, that's going to trickle down to all of us in ways that we cannot imagine. How can you start today to embrace change, to embrace a little bit of risk, to push yourself out of your comfort zone, to feel what it feels like, and know that you're going to be okay? It's a muscle. We have to develop it. We have to keep doing it. We have to keep pushing ourselves out of our own comfort zone. Feel what it feels like to have nobody around you that really understands what you're doing and why you're doing it. We all have a dream inside of us. And so many of us don't act on that simply because we're afraid of the change that will be required. Thank you for listening to this episode of Tracy Talks. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe, and share with others who would enjoy listening to this podcast. Friends can find Tracy Talks available on iTunes, Spotify, Substack, and YouTube. Hit me up on Instagram and Facebook at More Tracy Talks. And until next time, we meet again.